If anybody is on, I'd love to know if you can hear me. I got a new mic and I don't know if it's working very well. Scott's having a little bit of a hard time hearing me. So if anybody is in there,
Yeah, I'm trying to
yeah,
get the I'm trying to get the playback to come in right now. So
we got somebody in the chat.
all right, so I don't know if they can see us like right now. Like I'm just looking at like an external. Let me do something else here. Oh, there we go. Okay, all right.
I think we're good. We're good?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good.
All right. I think we've got one person in here so far. There we go. Hey, Bourbon Blind, how you doing?
It's Bourbon Blind and Blind Bourbon Reviews.
Yeah, I wonder where they got that idea, you guys. Hey, so Bourbon Blind, I got a new mic here and I'm trying to figure out if you guys can hear me. So if you're having trouble hearing me, please pop it in the chat and let me know. I don't even know if this mic is working very well. So let me know what you guys can hear.
All right, so it looks like we're good. So based on the chat and everything. So thanks. So we'll see. I think there's going to be a couple other people. You probably saw that I put that like little short video out before. So
yeah, I did. So hey, it looks like we got 6 people in here now. So we're getting a few people coming in. What's up, everybody? I'm John. We got Scott here from My Bourbon Journey. We're doing my first live stream on my channel, which there's going to be some hiccups because I really don't know what I'm doing. As I was just saying to some of these guys, I got a new mic. So if for some reason you guys can't hear me very well, let me know and I can try switching back to my computer mic. Me and Scott have been planning this thing for quite a while. I think we've been talking about this for probably like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. I mean, it's been a long time. So we're a little bit slow moving on getting things done around here, but we're here today and we're ready to rock and roll. So
you got it.
Scott and I planned this out a little bit for you guys. We're going to be doing a blind tasting. We both sent each other 3 different samples. Neither of us know what samples we received, so it's going to be a little bit of fun. We'll taste these things, see what we're getting, and we'll pop them out at the end. You know, I couldn't think of a good way for us to let them know what we're tasting without you knowing what we're tasting. So if you've got an idea, let me know. But anyway, Scott, say hey to everybody.
I thought kind of the same thing too. That it's more of a surprise to really everybody who's kind of tuning in. They're just going to kind of have to follow me without you leaving or I leaving or whatever it may be. It's going to be difficult for them to know exactly what it is. So I guess I was thinking, do you want to, rather than keep it like a secret all the way to the end, do we want to just do it like as we go through ABC? Do we want to just,
yeah, we can do that, or maybe you can look away for a second. I'll show them, and I'll look away, and you can show them, or however we want to work it, man. Nothing crazy.
I guess that's fine. You know what I probably should do? I probably should grab. I'll grab the bottles before we do that or whatever. But yeah, we can for sure do that. So here's what I was going to do. When I gave you your samples, rather than do it ABC, I just reversed it. So just do it from CBA. That's how I really want you to taste it. That way, I think it would be the best way to do it.
Done. I haven't even poured them yet. So what is up, everybody? We got 13 people in here now. Thanks for joining us.
Good.
First live stream here.
Bourbon Shenanigans.
Yeah. Bourbon Blind, Santa Cruzin, John Belushi. Swami's in there. What's up, Malton in Montreal? Jason Fisk, George Kaplan. Hey, everybody. Glad you can make it. Bourbon Shenanigans. Glad everybody can make it in. So unless you got something to say, Scott, let's start drinking some whiskey, huh?
Yeah, you got it. So why don't you, since you're hosting the thing, why don't you go first? So start with C, and then I guess you can kind of tell me while you're doing that. I'm gonna grab the bottles real quick, so I've got them by my side here.
Yeah, hey, Tom R popped in here in Whiskey Throttle. So here's the 3 samples that Scott sent me. I'm gonna be pouring sample C first, and we'll see what we've got. That should be enough for now. So how's everybody's Friday? Obviously, we got Whiskey Day coming up tomorrow and a ton of live streaming. So I guess me and Scott picked the right time to hop on and beat the rush So let's jump into this and see what Scott sent here. I'm smelling bourbon, just how I like it.
I gotta sneak back in here real quick.
Scott disappeared somewhere. And just to double check, turn my mic down a tad. That's what I wanted to know. Hold on,
I forgot to grab the bottles before, so now I've got them. So when you're tasting it, I've got everything. So.
All right, I tried turning my mic down. Somebody let me know if that's doing all right, or if you need it lower or higher, where we're at. But let's get into this whiskey here.
Yeah, you sound good on my end.
Yeah, someone popped on there and said my mic was a little high, so I just turned it down a touch. Now, Swami's telling us to turn up both our volumes. I don't know how to work this thing. You guys act like I know what I'm doing. Oh, there's like a volume level here.
Distilleries. I do taste barrel proofs and stuff too, so I can taste something above 90 proof.
All right, both our volumes are all the way up, so I don't know what that does. Anyways, let's get into this whiskey.
I'm gonna pour mine too. Are you gonna put any water in yours?
You know, I didn't even bring any in, so.
Okay.
Whiskey Thrally says now he doesn't feel so bad. Hey guys, we got to work out the kinks. I'm sorry, and I just got this mic right here today. I got it this morning, so hopefully
we
it's
gave
working.
ourselves a full 5 minutes of preparation time. So
I don't even know if it was 5. It might have been 2.
Yeah.
Santa Cruz and says cast strength or go home. Santa Cruz is saying it better be cast strength or go home. So let's see what we got here.
There you go.
Pretty sweet on the nose. It doesn't smell too hot. Getting some light fruit notes on this one. Apples, pears. A little bit of.
Yeah, that's you're kind of hitting that. You're kind of hitting that one pretty good right now. So.
Somebody, Swami's saying your mic's super low. I hear you fine, but I guess he's not hearing y'all too loud.
Yeah, it probably has to do with mine. Like I'm a couple of feet away from my phone. I don't have my my external mic with me, so.
Yeah, a couple of people are saying you're a little quiet, but nothing we can do about it. Oh well. Sorry, people. We'll do better next time.
The only thing I can do is move everything a little bit closer. Maybe that'll help. I'll get closer. I'll just talk louder. How's that? Is that?
Oh, that's a little bit. I think that's probably a little bit better.
Okay. All right.
Whiskey Throw, I was asking you to make a comment in the chat so you can they can highlight your name and everything. Cool. So let me give this whiskey a taste. Pretty good, nice and smooth. A little bit of a burn, but I'm guessing it's not too high proof. A lot of the lighter fruit characters.
You're kind of hitting that one pretty good. So what's kind of your guess like in proof and maybe like who the distillery is, things along those lines. I want to try to maybe take a run at it.
I can give you a shot, but I'm terrible at that.
That's tough. That's really tough. Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to tell me who makes it. I mean, that's the tough. And there's people who taste all that kind of stuff, but that's really tough.
My palate's just not there yet. I mean, I've had a lot of whiskey, but I haven't been able to narrow down distilleries. And some of these guys can, man. It's super impressive.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah,
it's tough. While I'm feeling this one out, Scott, why don't you dip into one?
Yeah, we'll get into that. Hey Dan, thanks again, man. Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for joining. Brian Baltazar, one of my buddies, he's joined in.
Hey everybody. We're up to 19 viewers, so
let's get into this one. All right, so it already kind of, for me, this is smelling like a finished bourbon right now. To me, like it's finished in something, almost like a. I don't think that's rye. I'm not getting a lot of heat. Kind of a fruity, like nuttiness to that as well. A little bit of corn there. I'm not getting where it's so far on the nose where it's high alcohol at all. Yeah, but real like good caramel notes with that. Definitely some vanilla. The butterscotch is there. It's starting to kind of come through. All right, let's give this bad boy a taste. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, well, the palate and the nose are different. So the palate is giving me, I'm going to say this is probably proof wise. I mean, it's really, very like kind of like viscous. You can tell there's some proof. I'm going to guess this is probably based on that. I don't know, maybe one. Wait, I mean, that could be 110 or maybe even above that. That's, I guess if I'm kind of tasting this, my guess would be now that it's some type of like barrel proof, maybe a I don't know, kind of reminds me honestly of like a Russell's or something, like something you did the other day. It reminds me of a barrel proof Russell's Reserve. That would be my guess. I don't know. I would guess like maybe 115 proof or so, 117, and some type of like Russell's Reserve. Am I close?
Some of it you're close.
Some of it I'm close. So
everybody out there,
it's definitely a higher proof. You can tell it's a higher bourbon.
Yeah, you got that right for sure. Everybody out there, tell us what you want us to do. If you want us to reveal these things as we go, we can do that. Or if you want us to kind of wait till the end, we could do that too. So for all of you that are joining us, me and Scott are doing. Yeah, for all you guys joining us right now, me and Scott are just doing some blind tastings. We sent each other samples. We don't know what they are. So, well, Scott knows what he sent me, but I don't know what Scott sent me. So we're tasting those right now, taking some guesses and stabs at what we're drinking here. So having a little bit of fun. You guys are out there in the chat. It's Friday night. You guys got to be drinking something. Let us know what you guys are drinking.
Look at George Kaplan said, "This is a barrel of monkeys here."
I can't deny you, George Kaplan. Can't deny you.
So I guess it could be called worse than a barrel of monkeys, I suppose. But
I'm gonna take one more taste on this. And how about I think I saw a couple reveal as you go, so that's what we'll do. I'll take one more taste on this.
Why don't you kind of tell me what you think yours was proof wise, and maybe just give me a shot at like what you think, and I'll tell you what it was.
I'm having a tough time on what it is. I feel low proof. I mean, it feels like it's, 85-ish, give or take. Definitely feels low because it's pretty smooth, not a lot of harsh burn. Doesn't have a harshness to it, and I'm not necessarily getting a lot of oaky characters, so I'm guessing it's not super young, but it's not super old. Age-wise, I mean, if it's even got an age statement, I'm guessing it's kind of in that mid-range, that 5, 6, 7 year type range, maybe 8.
Yeah, you kind of hit that one. So I'll tell you what that one was. So you started with C, correct?
I started with C, yeah.
Okay, so C, that's a Jefferson's Reserve store pick, 90.2 proof.
Okay.
So that's why I wanted to start with that one there rather than do it the reverse order. So I think that was kind of, I figured you'd kind of get that. I mean, it didn't have a lot of bite to it. It's kind of more, florally, a little bit of oak, but it drinks like 90 proof. I mean, you can see, you even said 85, and it didn't have a lot to it. I mean, to be honest, it was one of the ones I've struggled with Jefferson's on a lot of things. I've had some of their, and I don't know if you've had it, but some of the chef's collaboration where it's a bourbon and rye kind of blend, and those are good. I think because the rye that they're mixing in must be a fairly high rye. I don't know what the mixture is on the chef's collaboration, but um, I get a lot more rye with those than I do like their bourbons. To me, a lot of their bourbon, other than the finish stuff, tends to kind of fall like a little bit flat for me. So you kind of hit the nail on the head with that one. So
Yeah, I mean, it had good flavor and it was smooth drinking, and I mean, I wouldn't have a problem drinking that anytime if you're just wanting something to sip on and not really sit there and pay attention
yeah,
to. It's a great whiskey for that.
yeah. No, I agree. And that's kind of, I wanted to see your thoughts like on that. I mean, I've tried it and I've tried other like Jefferson stuff before, and I get a lot of like what you just described. But for me, I don't know. I guess I'm not super crazy about the line, I guess. I mean, like you said, it'd be easy to, just sip on it like that. But, hey, to each their own, drink what you like.
Yeah, I mean, for me on something like this, I wouldn't. I mean, especially with the Jefferson's pricing. I mean, Jefferson's isn't by any stretch inexpensive. I mean, and especially their higher end stuff like the Jefferson's Ocean, which I mean, it's kind of just a gimmick. It's really overpriced, and I've tried them, and they're decent. It's nothing that blows my mind. It's certainly nothing I want to spend that kind of money on it. $80 a bottle for the higher end Jefferson stuff. I've just never found one that really does it for me. I mean, maybe some of the finished ones are all right, but
Yeah, and
anyways.
that's the thing. Their line is, other than the, just their standard stuff. Once you start getting up into their finished things or the aged at sea, you're getting into premium pricing, and I'm scared to pull the trigger on that just because I've had other ones of their stuff and it just didn't do it for me, and I don't want to be stuck with a 70, 80, $100 bottle that I don't really enjoy that much. So
Yeah, I'm totally with you. And I say it all the
I don't
time in my
know.
reviews, but the typical, even like on the lower end Jefferson's kind of entry level stuff, it's still in that $30 to $40 price range typically. And there's so much good whiskey at that price range that just blows this out of the water. So I mean, I would never just go out for something like this. I'm happy to drink it. It's not bad, but I wouldn't seek it out because there's so much better stuff for the same price or less.
Yeah, and I think this bottle was like in the $45, $47 range, something like that. So, again, not super cheap. I mean, that's kind of become the mid-level, type of pricing now. I mean, anything I don't want to say much below that is not that it's garbage, but I mean now the floor has kind of now crept up a little bit in terms of pricing wise, just because of everything being a little bit more expensive. So
Yeah. I kind of try to judge everything off the like $30 price range bourbons. Like I just did the Russell's Reserve review. I
yeah,
like that's $30, or Eagle Rare's $30, or Henry McKenna's about $30. And those are
yeah,
kind of my benchmarks that I like to use for, those are all great whiskeys for what they
yeah,
are. And if it doesn't taste as that good and it's more expensive, I have a problem paying that for it. At least
yeah. I
continue. I
agree.
mean,
I agree. And like the ones you just mentioned, like like McKenna. I mean, I know it just won like that 2018 San Francisco Spirit Awards. Um, but again, like you said, $30. It's a 10-year age stated bourbon, like $30 or so, and it's full of flavor. I mean, you can't really argue with it. I mean, it went up against a lot of the big boys, and you saw exactly what happened. It competed with all of them. It's got, all of those flavors that everybody wants in bourbon.
yeah, I mean, again, how do you compete with something that's $30, 10 years old, bottled in bond, obviously at 100 proof because of that? My only gripe with McKenna is it's a single barrel, and I'm not a huge fan of single barrel products only because you buy one once and it's amazing, and you buy the next one and it's all right. Like single
Yeah.
barrels are,
Yeah,
it's kind
that's
of a cool idea.
and that was the one thing, and I saw that it was a category of single barrels that it won in. They've still continued to call that like their winner, which to me was a little bit strange because I think you almost have to exclude a single barrel product from winning any type of like whiskey of the year unless you want to just call it whiskey of the year for single barrels. But I don't think you can call a single barrel the whiskey of the year unless it's, you know, something that's, that whether it's a, small batch or whatever, but a single barrel, let's just say you're pulling out 200 bottles. That's all there is. You tell me 200 people have the chance to have the whiskey of the year? I mean, it just doesn't seem fair to me,
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. And again, I just have a problem with single barrel products in general because, like you said, 200 people get to try that bottle, and that's it, so, or at least get to own it. So, and that's at best. A lot of times these products are not getting that kind of yield out of them either, especially on these older ones. So, it's cool, but it's just the inconsistency sucks.
Yeah. I'd say the more I drink like your sample A, the more I pick up a lot more oak, a lot more like kind of chocolate covered cherry type of deal with this one. I mean, I think it's now even a little bit higher proof than I think before. I think you're now up into close to maybe even 120 range with that. It tastes, it's not hot, but you can tell that there's proof to it just based on the flavor. There's, a strong amount of oak to it. So it's got some age to it, would be my guess, that this is an aged bourbon. So.
All right. So you're guessing it. You want to take a shot at how old it is? And I think you already guessed the proof. What did you say? 115?
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is in the 115, 120 range, somewhere around there. Age wise, I would say, I don't know, this has got to be, oh boy, I don't know. I'm gonna say at least, I'll just go with 10 years. I'm just gonna say 10. And the more I keep talking about it, I've almost like convinced myself, it's kind of weird because I keep going back and forth in terms of like what I think this is. Maybe the more I've talked about other things that we've already talked about, it makes me start to think that it's some of that stuff. But, I don't know. I guess I mean, it's almost, and I don't know if you've got it or not, but I mean, it is a lot along the lines of the Elijah Craig barrel proof even is kind of what it kind of tastes like a little bit the more I kind of drink it. So I don't know. This is where I want to like try to somehow nail these things, but it's gonna be like really impossible. So I don't know. I'm not gonna name the distillery or like what it is, but I'll just stick with, let's just go with 10 years and I'll say 117 proof. All
right, the reveal.
Darn it. It was one of the ones I was thinking about too. And it's fantastic. It's I knew this was something that was kind of familiar, but it is I would say that Prohibition, it's one of the ones, and that was there was a lot of talk for a while about people thinking that should have been maybe it was last year their whiskey of the year. So
yeah, a lot of people last year were really high on it, and it's awesome. I mean, it's an amazing whiskey. So and I think you were pretty dead on. I mean, you guessed the proof. I think age-wise, 1920. I mean, I don't think obviously it's not an age statement. I think it's somewhere probably about in that 8-year range, so you weren't too far off there. And you nailed the proof.
Really good. You could tell the more. And what's the proof? Isn't it like 115 or 117 proof?
It's 115. You pretty much nailed that one, so that was real impressive. All right, so I'm moving on to sample B here.
All right.
Yeah, Old Forester is awesome, and it's kind of right in that, like you said, it's right in that wheelhouse with the Elijah Craig barrel proof. For me, I think Elijah Craig barrel proof at this point edged it out by a couple points, but it's fantastic whiskey, and it's in that great price range. I can get the 1920 for somewhere in the mid 50s range, depending where I'm at, or even I've seen it down to $50 too, which is a great price for a whiskey like that. So hopefully it stays that way.
That's about where it is here too. I would say, if you can find a good deal, maybe it would be in that $50 range, but typically it's probably in the $55 to $60 range for us as well. So.
All right, so I'm moving on to sample.
We need something high proof to wash all that cheese and stuff down here. So.
We'll do a blind cheese tasting next time.
There you go. There's a spinoff coming, guys.
So sample.
I want to check some of the chat and see what's going on. So
yeah, check the chat. I'm gonna dip into this.
Keep drinking the 1920. I'm not even ready to move on to the next one yet. That was a good one though. You started off with a big high proof one, so.
Hey, man. I think Santa Cruz was the one that said cast strength or nothing, right?
You got it. You got it.
And I think I talked about it in my review, and in looking into it, 1920 isn't obviously cast strength, but it's probably pretty close to it. I think what they were shooting for was the typical cast strength in the year 1920. It was kind of what it said on when I looked into it a little bit more.
You know, and I bet back then when you were talking about that time, I bet when we talk about cast strength and, you know, whatever, let's just call it 120, 125 proof. I bet back then it was even higher than that. It was probably borderline dangerous stuff back then.
Yeah, I don't see why it would have been so low, you know? They weren't exactly metering stuff back then.
No. So, all right. So let's see what we got going on in the chat. All right. Rob,
all right, so
thanks for jumping in on John's channel.
Yeah, let's give a couple more shout outs here.
Right now.
Yeah, we're down to see, we're at 19. What do we got? We got Rob from Whiskey and the Six showed up. What's up, Rob? Thanks for coming, man. Glad to have you. Buckshot showed up. I'm trying to see who's new that we didn't call out before. Loch Ness.
Daniel's here. John Belushi, back from the dead.
Whiskey Throttle sipping on what looks like some cast strength whiskey, although I don't know if he said what it is.
Yeah, that's a good one. Like, what's everybody else kind of drinking tonight? I wasn't paying attention to some of the chat. Maybe some of the guys said stuff, but
yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys that are doing a lot of live streams and are able to pay attention to the chat and keep talking. That's tough.
Yeah, this is like the impossible part. You know, you feel like you still need to have all the conversation and still be able to pay attention to the chat, but it's difficult.
That's definitely going to be an acquired skill. So I got a lot of respect for guys like Rob and everybody that does a lot of live streaming and can sit there and chat it up and watch the chat and type back. And
he makes it look easy.
Sure does.
Oh, look at that. Oh, look at Rob going with a little bourbon. He's not in the Scotch world today. A little old Rip Van Winkle 10.
Well, why are you trying to put us to shame, Rob? We're drinking $50 bottles of whiskey over here.
Yeah. Here we go. Here we go with Canada trying to trump us again.
Hey, man, they got to pay ridiculous prices for bourbon up there, so I can't be too mad at them.
That's probably it. That's probably like $2,000 Canadian there.
All right, so let's get some notes on the nose on sample B here.
Okay.
Little light on the nose. Again, it doesn't feel too hot. I can get my nose in there without cooking my face off.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet notes. Again, kind of like those lighter fruits I'm getting. Maybe a touch of cherry. Caramel, brown sugar notes in there, kind of in the background.
Yeah.
Not getting much woody character on it. There's something different on there. Let's get into the taste and see what we got.
Daniel, leave Trump out of this.
This one's definitely higher proof than the last one. I wasn't picking up much woody character on the nose, but I'm definitely tasting it on the palate. So maybe this has got some age on it. There's a weird fruitiness in the back. I'm wondering if maybe has a finish on it or something.
Yeah, that'll be kind of interesting. I don't know if you had that one or not, but I'll tell you this: it's not the run of the mill anything you're just gonna buy right off the shelf.
There's definitely something that I can't put my finger on the back end of it. Like I get this woody character, and then it's kind of the lingering flavor turns into something I need to think about for a couple minutes. But I'm gonna marinate on this one for a couple. Why don't you get into sample B and see how you're doing?
There we go. All right, I'm gonna take a little sip of water here. I still got 1920 on the palate.
Yeah, I didn't make this easy on you.
I can't even like get rid of it at all. It's that stuff is so good. All right, so let's go on to B here. We'll see what B is. All right, so yeah, way different nose than the first one, of course. I get a little more kind of like a cream corn with this. There's kind of that light caramel in the vanillas. There's a bit of what is that I'm picking up? Oh man, there's something there and I'm struggling to pick it out, but it's like it's right there in my face. Kind of like I don't know if it's like a there's a little bit of a nutty, like a sweet nuttiness kind of to that as well. But I get quite a bit of corn and a little bit of like light oak. I'm not getting the impression based on the nose that it's a high proof or an overly aged bourbon. I don't think there's any chance this is a rye. But yeah, kind of a sweet corn nuttiness to it. So all right, let's give this a try. Cheers. I would say now the palate with this is like quite a bit of honey. Definitely some like floral, a little bit of some butterscotch there for sure. Proof wise, I would say this has got to be. I'm gonna guess 95 proof, somewhere right around there. I don't think this is 100 proofer. I don't think. Now again, my taste buds could be fried because I started out with 1920, but I don't think so. I think this is probably fairly close to the 95 proof wise. But really, it's really good. I mean, they're two completely different types of bourbons, but still fantastic. I don't know, age wise, I would say this is maybe, let's just say between, I don't know, let's just go with like 7 years, something like that. Maybe somewhere around there, maybe 8 max. Yeah, it's really good. I get a lot more. I get a lot more like corn, and there's still that sweetness that's there. Again, I don't think it's overly high proof. I'm going to stick with that 95 or so range, but really nice, and it's got it's sweet on the palate. The finished part of this, I would say, is probably I don't know, medium to long. It's kind of sticking right there on that like mid palate. It's not hitting you like way in the back or anything. It's kind of right there more in the front or middle, but nice and sweet. I would say the longer it kind of sits there, the more like kind of like a sweet candy corn caramel is kind of coming through. So that's really a nice bourbon. See, now if in reverse order, if I was going to sit down and not have to worry about something being like overpowering or anything like that, you just wanted something to sit down and sip on, I'd go to this like right away. You know what it kind of reminds me of a little bit is Elmer T. Lee a little bit. I kind of get some of that like sweet honey caramel type of notes. It kind of it drinks a lot like Elmer T. Lee a little bit. I don't know if you've had ETL or not, but it kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, I've had Elmer C. Lee, and in drinking the whiskey that you're drinking, I don't know that I've put those two together, but I've had Elmer C. Lee a few times.
Yeah.
I'm marinating on this whiskey, and I'm having a hard time pegging this one down.
Yeah.
I'm torn on the proof. I'm torn on the age. I'm getting a lot of woody characters on this, and so it's making it tough because I don't know. I mean, based on the woody characters,
the one you got right now, I really enjoyed it a lot for a lot of kind of different reasons. But
I mean, I think it's got a lot of good characters. It's got a lot of flavors. It's pretty complex, and it's got a wide range of flavors. It's not like you're stuck in this narrow window of, oh, it's brown sugar and caramel and a little bit of cherry, like a lot of bourbons are. You know, it's got some complexity. It's got a lot of different characters and flavors. And I always mention this in my reviews, but I love when whiskeys, as you're taking different sips, it's hitting you in different places on your palate, and it's changing, and one sip you get more of this character, the next sip you get more of that, and I like that. I like that experience. So I get some of that on that.
To me, and when you say that, to me, that's when I think whether it's $20 or $200, that to me is when you found I'll just call it a quality bourbon. When it changes and it continues to stick around, and you're getting a lot of different things that are hitting different parts of the palate for minutes afterwards, to me that's like a good bourbon. And price wise, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, look at Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond. It's $12, and that's, I mean, you could put that up against a lot of other bourbons, and people wouldn't ever be able to tell you that you just paid $12 for a bottle of bourbon like that.
Yeah. Totally, man. I totally agree. Price, a lot of people go to the store and they shop by price ranges, and you can't do it because there's so many good whiskeys that aren't expensive, and there's so many expensive whiskeys that aren't real good. So it's just, the pricing thing is just a tough deal, and the only way to find out is to try it. And what stinks is, I wish there was an easier way to try samples of it.
And you know as well as a lot of the guys that are on the chat is that a lot of bourbon has a lot to do with storytelling and marketing. I mean, case in point is look at the rhetoric line. For the longest time they kept talking about these aged whiskeys or bourbons, that they were all these lost or misplaced barrels, and nowadays you don't lose.
Nobody loses barrels. Like no one.
You don't have enough lost stuff to have a 20-year-old, a 21, a 22, 23. Now they just released 24. So you're telling me they lost like, I don't know what, 100,000, 150,000 barrels of something. I mean, it was great at first, but I think that whole story part is probably kind of gone by the wayside. But now they're kind of locked into the marketing part of it. As I know somebody was mentioning before, had anybody tried the Rhetoric 24? That's what kind of made me think of that. But yeah, it's one of those things. To me, when you start getting into that kind of age, depending on where those barrels are stored, they can get super oaky. Now, not always. Like I know people, I've had the Pappy 23, and people have said that it's super oaky. And the one I had, no, I only had a sample of it, but I thought it was fantastic. I didn't think it was over oaked at all. It was fantastic. Now it's expensive, but I didn't get all of that. People do say the 20-year is maybe the kind of the sweet spot in that line. But
yeah, I like the Barter House. I think the Barter House is really good, and that's one of the 20 years.
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, no, I think this one that you sent me, I would agree. Probably the more I continue to drink it, it probably drinks with a little more flavor than Elmer T. Lee. I mean, I think Elmer T. Lee, I think is only 90 proof if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, I think you're right.
This is more than
that. All right, let me give one more sip here, and I'll give you my final rundown.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this one, the more I kind of drink it, I don't know. I don't know if it is finished in anything, but I'm starting to get like a bit of a finished character to it a little bit. I don't know if that's the case or not, but a little bit.
God, I just can't peg. I can't figure out the tail end of this one. The front is pretty straightforward. There's a little bit of spicy notes. There's some sweet brown sugar caramel. There's a little bit of cherry and fruit. The back end is very oaky and woody. And there's this weird herbal character at the end. I can't put my finger on.
Yeah.
Proof wise, I'm having a hard time with proof on this one because I keep getting different experiences when I take different sips on how I feel like it is in the proof range. But I'm not going to say it's too high. I feel like I'm in the maybe a 95, 100. I feel like it's in there somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe 95 feels right. Age, I don't know. It's so tough.
Keep talking. You're gonna talk yourself right into something else here pretty soon.
I know. This tastes like rum to me. It is
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's just flavored vodka. I don't want to rain on your parade. But
this is that Sazerac weeded vodka, right?
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, so you want me to show you?
Oh, let me say. I'm gonna say year if it has an age statement. That oak character's throwing me off. I can't tell if it's like some kind of double oak thing or if it actually has some age on it. I'm gonna put it in like the 12 years, 10 years. I don't know, 10, 12, somewhere in there. Let's see what it is.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
Okay. So it's the mic drop.
Oh, nice.
So that's can you still see the bottle okay?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So yeah, so that's are you familiar with like what it is?
I've seen reviews of it. I saw your review of it, so I've got a little bit. I feel like it was somewhere in what is it, like 8 years?
Yeah, it's actually 8 years old. It is cask strength, 8 years old, and it is 112 proof.
Woo!
So, yeah, so it's one of those things. That was one of the things I thought about it as well was, it's not super high proof, but when you're drinking that and you're thinking it's 95, and now you've got another 17, 18 more proof on top of that, you can get in a bit of trouble. I think it drank a lot smoother than the proof kind of showed itself. But how you were kind of describing a lot of the, like, just different layers that it has, it's a mixture of a ton of barrels. I mean, they mixed a lot. I mean, it's a batch where they put, I don't even know how many it was. There's a whole thing on the back of this. And it is MGP, so it's sourced. But I mean, I love a lot of things that MGP puts out. So anyway, so I'll give you the mash bill on this. So it's 75% corn, 21% rye, and 4% barley. So I mean, nowadays I would say that's probably, maybe you'll agree, 21% kind of in the middle range of a rye that's in there. It's kind of almost on the lower end of the medium side of things,
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely taste the rye in there.
Yeah.
It certainly doesn't drink like you said. It certainly doesn't drink like the proof that it is, and it's very flavorful. And like I said, I'm getting so much oak on it. It's really curious that it's only an 8-year age statement. I would guess that maybe that 8-year age statement isn't. I mean, obviously, age statements are always like it has to be at least that. I'm wondering if there's maybe stuff in there that's older, much older than the 8 years, which is giving you that oak character.
Yeah, that's the thing. It could be. I mean, they could have picked, they could have 12, 13, 14-year age, barrels in here, and the youngest being 8, if they're going to call it, like you said, if they're going to put an age statement on here, it's got to be the youngest barrel out of that. So I guess that wouldn't necessarily surprise me that this wasn't a blend of some older bourbons in there for sure.
Yeah, I totally dig the flavor profile. I mean, it's all over the place. It's got a wide range of flavors, like I said, and it's really good. My only knock on that whiskey is I think it's over $100 or $100, which is, I hate that price range. I mean, that's the kind of.
Yeah, I think the price range, like at retail, I think was like 105 or 110, something like that. And then the secondary market kind of got a hold of it, and it kind of shot up into that, 170, 175 range, I think, maybe even 200 for a short period of time. But yeah, so I was glad when I saw that. I was like, well, I'm gonna throw that in there, because what you kind of described was a lot of what I got, just a lot of different like layers of it, and I think a lot of times, when people are talking about like layers of things, you hear more Scotch people, describe the different layers within that. There aren't always that with bourbon, but I thought this was kind of something a little bit different, where there were different things. You kind of kept searching for, like, what is that next flavor that I'm kind of tasting,
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like with Scotch, it's a lot easier, and I know nothing about Scotch, so I could be completely talking out of my butt here. But I feel like with Scotch, Scotch to me, bourbon's kind of a narrow range of flavors, and Scotch has a much wider variety of things they can choose from when they're doing these blends. So I feel like it's a lot easier for them to create these much more complex whiskeys, just because they have so many more profiles to pick from when they're blending this stuff.
Yep. Yep. No, I agree. And I'm with you. I know very, very little about Scotch. I mean, I have a good idea of like where it comes from, and that's about my Scotch knowledge. I don't even pretend to even get into that. And frankly, I don't know if I have any desire, because sometimes when you're watching, as you do, you watch guys like Rob, or Jason Whiskey Wise, or Daniel from Whiskey Throttle. I mean, all these guys. I mean, they've got so much Scotch and things along those lines. I don't even know half the time what the hell they're even talking about with some of that stuff. I mean, it's just ridiculous, some of the things that they have. And like Daniel, I mean, you've probably seen it, and I mean, he's got a crazy collection of things. Rob's got some nice stuff. So yeah, some of these guys have got ridiculous collections. So
well, now you've got this basement built out, and you've got some space. I have a feeling you're going to catch up to them pretty quick here.
This behind me, eventually, when I can finally, and I'm hoping that maybe this weekend, I'm gonna start to get the shelves and stuff put up, so I can finally start getting the bottles and stuff put up there. That was the idea, was to get that whole wall behind me full of the bottles and stuff that I've got. So that's kind of what I've been looking forward to. So that'll be fun. So
yeah, definitely. All right, you want to take a stab at what you've got in your B sample there?
So let me do this. I kind of got into just drinking all of it, so I kind of ran out. So
hey, it's Friday. There's nothing wrong with that.
You got it. So I don't know. I mean, I guess with this, I don't know. It's really good. I mean, it's just easy to sit here and shoot the shit and just drink this stuff and not even like think about it. So I don't know. I'm gonna say probably that 95 range. I mean, you're getting a good amount of good amount of rye there. You're getting that, a little bit of oak. I have no idea, like, as to who the producer is. So I don't know. I'm just gonna stick with that. I'm just gonna say 95 proof, and maybe age wise, let's just go with, I'll say 6 years.
All right, here's time for the reveal, and we've got
Rare breed.
Rare breed, sir. So you were equally wrong on the proof, sir. Equally wrong. We both screwed that one up pretty good.
Holy cow. So which batch is that?
This is not the current batch. It's the one before. This is the 112.8 proof, which, as I've heard, and I haven't ever done a side-by-side with them, but most people say that I haven't been able to try the new batch, which I hear is amazing, but I hear people don't like, I mean, everybody likes Rare Breed, but people don't like this one less than they do like the current batch and some of the other ones. So, but I reviewed this the same way you did. I think when I reviewed this, I think I said it was a 95 proof or somewhere in that range as well, because it drinks like that. It's so smooth.
That's crazy. I didn't get any of, I mean, I would have never have guessed that. That was 112 proof. That thing drank way too way too easy. I just had something pop up on my phone here. There we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, I mean, you can see, so that's like equally, like you said before, this is another one of those things that creep up on you when you're drinking something that you think is 95 proof, and now it's got close to, you know, another 20 proof on top of that. So I would have never have guessed that it was that high proof.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that bottle. I mean, like I said, other people didn't care for it as much as others, but I think it's good drinking. It tastes good. It's got a good range of flavor. It's got the typical turkey spice characters to it, and the price is right. I mean, I paid $40 for that bottle, I think, and I think generally you can get it in that $40 to $50 range. So definitely worth the money.
And I think are they doing that? Are they doing that as barrel proof?
I believe that's barrel proof on all the rare breeds. And you were, I think, what'd you guess on the age?
I said 7 years, but
I mean, I think you're in that range. I think rare breed is like a blend of 6 to 12-year-old whiskeys or something like that. So I think you're pretty close.
I don't know. I mean, it had some great. I mean, it's got great flavor. I mean, I think so far. I mean, they're ones that, you know, you've had and you've tasted before, and you just can't necessarily put your finger on like what it is. But I mean, man, there's no way I would have thought that was 112. That drank way too smooth for 112 proof.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that one. That's why I love blind reviews. That's why I started this channel. It's so much more interesting to do it blind, and when you see what it actually is, like you're sitting there like, what what happened? How did I get that so wrong? But it just goes to show
you're gonna have to start getting your wife to make some purchases for you, so you have literally no idea whether you have it in the house or not. You're really not knowing what it is.
Yeah, that was always part of the plan. At some point, I'm going to implement. I just want her to go buy maybe five. I'll give her, a couple $100, go buy 5 bottles, hide them somewhere, so she can mix those in when she wants, and that means I really have zero idea which one I'm getting. I mean, I have so many bottles at this point that
I'm probably going to come home with like an Evan Williams and like some high heels for you.
I know, that's what I'm afraid of. I have so many bottles at this point. There's no way I'm guessing what she's pouring me though. So
no, it is. I mean, and the guys that are, and maybe if you're drinking more of this stuff, you start to pick up the characteristics of, the distillery, and, I mean, I'm probably not to that, stage, but they're familiar. It tastes like, it's something you've had before. You just can't exactly tell what it is, so.
I mean, I feel like if you want to be able to pick out distilleries, you really got to train yourself, and you got to sit there and drink, grab 5, 6 whiskeys from the same distillery and do side-by-sides and pick out those characters that are the same between them, and kind of help you figure out what it is about that distillery that's kind of unique, or flavor profiles that there's in all their whiskeys.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, the thing I was thinking before was, this is a nice way to, for you to do it as a blind review tasting, whatever you want to call it, and for me just to also taste different things that I have no idea of. I mean, it's fun. I mean, that's why I think the sample part of things is always a ton of fun.
Yeah, this is kind of I think I told you when we were trading these samples back and forth, this is kind of my first delve into samples. I've never really tried shipping samples anywhere before. It's a cool idea. It's fun to do. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing this.
I did receive your essential oils, so thank you.
Not a problem. Those essential oils are very easy to ship here in the United States.
Yeah. So.
All right, let's move on.
You just want to keep on drinking. Like, I don't even want to keep moving on to the next one. I just want to keep finishing these, but I keep drinking these that fast.
We always got to keep it moving, or we're going to be here all night. I guess not that that's a problem, but.
How long are we in right now, anyway?
I think we're coming up on an hour, so don't want to bore anybody to death.
No. Okay, that's fine. I'll pour the third one too. So.
No worries. I'm going to start getting a nose on this. This is A. This one's real fruity on the front, but it's more dark fruit. Not getting a ton of alcohol in the nose. Definitely getting some like cherry, maybe like raisin character on the nose. Interesting.
Yeah, John was mentioning before in here, Rabbit Hole, they're kind of finishing their distillery. I think they're opening, I heard something about like maybe June that they're going to be opening in downtown Louisville. So that'll be kind of interesting along with, and I'm not sure if the distillery for Old Forester is open up downtown or not yet. So that's one I want to get to as well. So.
Yeah, I've been really like impressed with the Old Forester products, and especially being that it's, you know, Brown Forman, and everybody kind of has takes the whole Brown Forman thing to they're kind of a weird business, but
hey, speaking of like Old Forester, have you ever had their that Statesman?
You know, I never tried the Statesman. I kept every time I walked by it, I had a hard time with the price range. You know, you can pick up the 1920 for $50 to $55, and the Statesman was a few bucks less, not much. I mean, it was close to 50 if I remember right.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I kept hearing mixed reviews. At first, I heard mixed reviews on it, and then I kept hearing people say it was fantastic. Yeah. So I still see it on the shelves. I might have to grab one.
I mean, if you can get it for $55 or whatever that may be, I mean, in that range, let's just call it what it is. I mean, it's worth $55 if you want to. If anything's worth $55, I mean, it's on par with the 1920. And to be honest, I may even say it has a slight edge over the 1920. It's that good.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, now you're making me do it.
To me, I thought it was fantastic. It's so full of flavor. I forget what the proof was, but I thought it was 100 and something. I don't know if anybody maybe they know out there what the Old Forester Statesman proof wise is, but
I think it's 95 if I remember right.
It was, well, yeah. Whatever it is, it's fantastic. It's really, really good.
All right, let me get a taste on this third sample here.
Hey John, did you get any super chats yet tonight?
Well, unfortunately for me, you're not doing super chats or bringing any ad revenue in on your channel until you hit 1,000 subscribers, and I'm well away from that. Although I'm pretty impressed with myself. I got 200 and something after, it's been almost, I think I'm coming up on 4 months maybe. So I can't complain. I've had a lot of good support from everybody.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So hopefully everybody who is in here, I'm guessing that everybody who's in here right now maybe has subscribed to your channel, but if not, go ahead and do it, man. John does a good job. And if you want the most, like he says, the most honest whiskey reviews out there, then you just follow him on his channel.
My tagline.
Yeah, I'm just a liar, so don't even listen to anything I say.
Everyone else is lying. I'm the only one that tells the truth.
Yeah, I'm not allowed. I'm a liar with my reviews, and I'm not allowed to wear flannels anymore. So I'm really starting to get bummed here in this whole thing.
Yeah, I called Scott. He wore a flannel one time, and I said I owned the patent on flannel whiskey reviews. All right, let's get some taste on this.
Oh yeah, Tom mentioned before, and I don't know, maybe John, maybe you've had it or not, but Tom had asked if I had ever had the J. Henry, their J. Henry bourbon, and it's. Yeah, so they're
you reviewed it, didn't you?
Yeah, J. Henry. I haven't done a review of it. No. Well, I did. I did the it was the Speakeasy Wisconsin barrel pick that they did. So one of the guys who runs it, Troy, he sent me a sample of it and I did it. And it's fantastic. They released the 5-year and the 7-year, but to me, I really enjoyed the 5-year like far more than I did the 7. To me, the 7-year drank a little bit hot and I wasn't overly crazy about it, but they've also got the Patent Road version that they do, and it's fantastic as well. So yeah, if you guys see it or you're able to get the J. Henry line, get it. I think it's for their 5-year, I want to say it's maybe $40, something like that, but it's really good. The Patent Road's a little bit more, I think it's closer to 70. But it's a really, really good lineup they have.
Yeah, I haven't tried any of the J. Henry stuff. I think me and you chatted a little bit about that after you did your review, and I don't even know if I can find it around here. I think I looked for it and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I don't know if their distribution is out west or not. So I think I don't know. For the most part, I'm guessing they're probably here in the Midwest. I'm guessing, you know.
Yeah, Jason Fisk said Trini and C beat me to the flannel punch, and someone else said that when I
Yeah.
commented on your channel. I
Yeah,
can't remember who it was.
yeah, but they're also they're probably doing the reviews from like the Moose Lodge or something too, aren't they?
Yeah, probably. All right, let's get some flavor notes on this here. We got
Okay.
this one off the top. I feel like it's a little bit hotter than the last two, a little bit higher proof. Kind of similar notes to what I described when I was nosing it. Got some of the darker fruit characters. There's some bitterness on the back end. Well, to me, a touch of an oaky character. I'm not getting too much burn coming down the chest, but let's see another taste here. Richie Z just joined us. What's up, Richie? How you doing, man?
Hey, Richie. Thanks for popping in. You've missed a ton of good stuff, by the way, Richie.
Yeah, you missed too much good stuff. Go back and rewatch it.
Tom did say the Statesman 95 proof. So to me, I thought it actually drank a little bit higher than 95, but anyway, it's fantastic. So
that's cool. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Something about Statesman. Yeah, the 95 proof. I just kept hearing like it. I just couldn't justify. It felt like it was too expensive. But if you're saying it's worth the money, I'm gonna have to give her to go.
I don't know. I think you'd really enjoy it. Maybe at first, try it at a bar or something along those lines. But to me, I thought it was worth, every bit of what you're paying for the 1920. I thought you were getting a lot of those like complex flavors and all of that. So to me, it was fantastic. It's one of the better bourbons I would say I've had in a while. I don't even actually have a bottle of it. I've had samples of it and had it in bars. I don't even have a bottle, and I don't know why. But it's worth. It's one that I want to get like ASAP. So
Tom R just quoted me on an honest whiskey review in a flannel shirt. I think I'm gonna have to use that, Tom. Do I have to? Since you came up with it, do I need to pay you a royalty of maybe like 10 cents every time I say it?
yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be like there's gonna start to be logos and shirts and hats and all kinds of things here coming up pretty soon.
Honest whiskey review in a flannel shirt. That's gonna have to be my first shirt, right? I could probably get like four. I could probably get like 4 people to buy it.
So Welsh, what's Welsh have? Is he actually having some Blanton's?
Yeah, I saw somebody who was drinking Blanton's in the chat, which I'm a big fan of Blanton's. I like the flavor profile. I think it's a touch overpriced for what it is, but it's so overhyped these days. I mean, Blanton's is good. I just don't understand why it flies off the shelves and you can't find the stuff anymore.
I think it's just one of those. I think it's one of those bourbons that's kind of gotten the publicity, and it's kind of been put up on that pedestal a little bit, and it's kind of become one of those difficult ones to find because everybody clamors over this stuff so badly. It's really good, but like we've been talking about, there's a lot of other good bourbons out there that are as good, if not better, for less than that. It's just one of those, kind of cool bottles that that people kind of chase after a lot, So
yeah, and I really am interested in. I haven't been able to try it. Is the Blanton straight from the barrel? I really want to try that. And it's such a pain in the butt to get, and you got to pay so much to ship it over here generally. Yeah. So I haven't been able to get any of that yet.
You almost have to find somebody who's like in your area where you can buy a few more and have it shipped. However, I did hear the other day, and maybe you guys have heard this too, but did you hear that that Budweiser purchased what's the company? Yeah. What's the company that you can buy all the stuff from overseas?
Master of Malt.
Masters of Malt. Yeah. So Budweiser apparently purchased them, and I think just recently they've shut down all shipping to the United States. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I always heard what they were doing wasn't legal in the United States, and somehow they just kind of got away with it. So if a company that big bought them, they would have definitely had to shut it down.
Yeah, so which is kind of unfortunate. I mean, that's straight from the barrel. And again, I've had it. I don't have a bottle of it, but um, I'll probably hit my dad up. They're going to like Europe and I don't know whenever, but I'll probably have him load something up in a suitcase or whatever and bring me back at least a bottle because it's really good. And I know people have talked about it being worthy of like one of the maybe like the BTAC line or something along those lines.
Yeah, Peter White in the chat here says it's the fifth BTAC. So yeah,
Yeah,
my boss is going to London in a couple of weeks, so hopefully I can convince him to bring me back a bottle or two.
yeah. He's got to hit up the duty free at the airport. He'll probably pick one of those up.
All right, have you dipped into that third sample yet, or are you just marinating on that rare breed?
I'm too busy talking like a little girl over here.
Nothing wrong with that.
Woo. There's some proof. There's some proof to that bad boy. Mm.
Yeah, my goal was to get you hammered.
Yeah, yeah. Man, oh man, that's fantastic. I don't know. I would say that's like a huge, like spicy caramel bomb. That's what I get with that right there. That's again, that's got some proof. I mean, that's proof wise, I'd say, you know, A and C are very actually, I mean, everything you've given me so far is all high proof stuff. But yeah, that right there, it lets you know with a good punch to the you know what.
You're not far off, my friend.
Yeah, that's a really good. I probably should have another taste of that.
You might need to have a few more tastes just to make sure you're solid on what it is.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's again, that's got to probably be in that. I'm gonna kind of stay in that 115, 120 range. I think it's got to be right up there. I mean, honestly, I don't know if I'm guessing. I don't know. There's something about that has Heaven Hill written all over it. It's I don't know why, but it just seems like it's like another kind of barrel proof, like Elijah Craig or something along those lines. That's a fantastic bourbon right there. So you would like to think you could drink that all night long. You probably couldn't. But I'd like to give it a try. That'd be one to give it a try. I mean, by far right now, I mean, in terms of if I had to rank these things, I'd probably go CAB for different reasons. Now yeah, CAB. That's how I would kind of rank it so far. With C and A being like, you know, kind of that 1A, 1B type deal. But yeah, right away you just get kind of punched with like huge spicy caramel. I love that one there. It's probably Statesman. Not really.
Yeah, someone sent me a sample of Statesman, so I just sent it over to you instead. I didn't drink it.
It's fantastic. That's fantastic. You get a little more like caramel, like oak, and man, that's really good. Anyway.
All right, I'm trying to narrow this one down.
What are your thoughts with that? What are you thinking?
It's good. I would say it's not quite as, it doesn't strike me as quite as complex as the mic drop was. I like the flavors though. I mean, it's in that, you know, good bourbon wheelhouse. I think, you know, like I said, the darker fruits up front, that cherry, maybe some raisin, which it moves into like the brown sugar caramel kind of characters, and then a little bit of bitterness on the back end, maybe just a hint of oak. It's not extremely woody, so you know, I'm feeling like it's in that mid-range of ages, maybe 6 to 8 years. The proof feels a little bit higher though. It feels a little bit hotter to me than the last two that I've had. So maybe I mean, I don't know. It's tough to say after I guessed the 112 proof mic drop at 95 to 100, but I mean, I feel like we're kind of in that low hundreds range, perhaps. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of where I'm at, and I can't get. I don't know what more I got in it. If I'm rating them kind of like you did, I'm gonna say my favorite was the mic drop, probably followed by this, and the Jeffersons is probably my last pick.
All right, you want me to reveal what yours is?
Sure, go for it.
Here we go.
The Peerless. You know, it's strange because
so I hit you with a rye. I mixed it up a little bit on you.
I don't really pick up a lot of rye character on it. It really has more of a bourbon feel to it. I'm wondering if it's a lower rye, you know, kind of more towards that 50% rye or so.
You know, the thing I liked about that, now I actually got this at the distillery when my dad and I were there. And so the Peerless, this is like a sweet mash process. Now, for me, I always, you know, it tastes sweeter and smoother to me, which I think lends itself to wanting to taste a little bit more like a bourbon than it does a rye. Now, like, have you had any of the Kentucky Owl Rye at all?
You know, I have a bottle of it, but I haven't opened it yet, and I haven't tried any of it.
So I guess with the Kentucky Owl Rye, like if you kept a little bit of this and you eventually do like a side by side, they're like vastly different. I mean, now age wise, you're talking about this is only a 2-year rye.
Yeah, that's super impressive that it's 2 years. It certainly doesn't drink like a 2-year whiskey.
No, I mean it's a bit on the pricey side, but you would never guess that was a 2-year whiskey. We'll call it rye, bourbon, whatever it is. And it is a 107.8 proof. So it's barrel proof. So it's not cut or anything like that. But it doesn't drink like a 2-year rye at all. I thought it was really, really good for what it was. And I think the interesting part with this one would be in a few more years, like what this will do, how that will change and maybe develop a little bit more, you know?
Yeah, I think it's really good whiskey. I certainly don't pick it up as a rye. Like I said, to me, it just felt more like a higher rye bourbon. But like you'd mentioned, you certainly don't check the 2 years. Like I said, I think it feels like it's at least a 6-year whiskey. My only problem with it, like you mentioned, is the price. I mean, that thing's over $100, and that's tough. I mean, for me, I don't know that I'd want to pay more than 50 or 60 for it. Maybe a little bit more, but over $100, I hate going over $100. It's got to be something really special to make me feel good about spending $100.
Yeah,
at least in bourbon.
I agree. I mean, I think you're paying for, you know, part of the marketing, the bottle. I mean, if you felt like the cork on this thing, I mean, I think everything about it, like when we did the tour, everything about the place was quality, which I really like kind of appreciated. Their master distiller, Caleb Kilburn. I mean, he was an awesome guy. We got to kind of shoot the shit with him for a little while, and he would tell you everything, and it was pretty cool. So, you know, you kind of buy into the whole story and all of that. But to me, nowadays, I do agree with you. When you start getting to that $100 price range, I mean, that's premium. And, you know, is there a big difference, you know, between a $50 bourbon or whiskey and a $100 bourbon? You know, I don't know. I mean, is there something that's worth that much of a difference? I mean, you can get 2 bottles of, you know, 1920 for the price of one of those. I mean, what would you rather have? You know, so it's tough because you're kind of torn in this market of things, you know. So, but anyway, so let me I'll get back to mine. We'll see what I've got here. So I don't know. My guess is gonna be with this. I'm gonna stick with that 115 proof range. I think it's got some age. I don't know. I'm gonna say this is I don't know. I think it's an Elijah Craig barrel proof, but I think it is.
All right. Well, you're off on the proof, but no one's gonna blame you because it's Stag Junior. don't know if you can see the proof there. This is 131.9 proof.
Boy, oh boy, man. If you weren't so far away, I would think you were trying to take advantage of me or something.
I know, right? Yeah, I mean, I love that whiskey too. I thought it was great. You can tell it's high proof. I mean, there's no hiding that, but it had a lot of good flavor. And I mean, again, you can pick up a Stag Junior for around $50, and that's just solid. I mean, it's a great whiskey for the price.
Do you find it in your area? Like, I mean, is it kind of easy to get it all, or?
It has been. I mean, I think I could probably go to the store right now and get one. I mean, there's definitely some liquor stores that have it, and you're not going to find it at the big chain stores like the Total Wines and Bevmo type stores, but you can find it at smaller stores around me.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that stuff around here, things like that. Anything premium around here. Now, the state of Wisconsin, we get a lot of stuff, but it's gone. Like, I mean, there's every secondary guy who's on to everything here. I mean, everyone here is just they know nothing about it other than the name, but it's gone like immediately. You would never have that stuff sitting on a shelf for very long. So,
well, I think we got to drink some pretty good whiskeys tonight. This was fun.
I would say so. I think that was it was a ton of fun. So yeah, I guess if I had to do like a little recap of what I preferred, I would probably go, again, probably CAB would be, but you can flip C and A all day long and I'd be happy to drink either one of those. B, for a different reason. It just, I don't say it wasn't on par. It was just different than these two. I mean, these are two big boys on the end mixed in with still kind of a big boy, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, how do you say 112 or 113 proof is not a big boy? That's still a high proof, bourbon. But the complexity of A and C was crazy. So, and that was just that Stag became like a huge caramel cherry bomb really at the end. So, and a little bit of water. I don't know if you saw, I put a little bit of water in there. It sweetened it right up quite a bit. So.
Yeah, that Stag just has so much flavor. I mean, yeah, it's high proof, but it has the flavor to back up that proof, and it definitely doesn't disappoint.
No, that it doesn't. So, no, this was a ton of fun. So, what's everybody else saying in the chat?
We got some comments on the Stag, on the Peerless. Richie Z's gonna catch up later. Well, hey, I guess we should be going for an hour and 20 minutes, so we should probably wrap this bad boy up. But I really appreciate everybody joining us tonight, and thanks for Scott for working this out and doing the sample thing with me. And this is a ton of fun. Hopefully, we can do some more of this kind of stuff in the future. I really enjoyed doing it. So I'm going to be doing a live stream with Whiskey Throttle coming up at some point in the hopefully very near future. We've been trying to work that one out for a while too, and I'm just tough on time. It's tough for me to do this stuff, and these time zone changes kill me. I'm in the worst time zone for live streaming, so you guys are all asleep by the time my kids are in bed. So
yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. It's almost like here. It's almost 2 a.m. So you really got me up late over here. No, not really. No, I had a good time. So hey, before we go, do you have anything? I guess do you have anything kind of coming up? I know you do all your blind stuff, but are you trying to put out like a video a week or 2 videos or 2 reviews a week or anything like that?
It's really my goal at some point. I really want to do 2. I mean, the one is easy enough. I think I can probably work in 2. I don't want to do 2 bottle reviews a week. I want to do a bottle review, and then I'm trying to work in a couple other things. I got to get them kind of worked out, but I'd like to do one of something else and 1 bottle review a week is kind of my goal coming up. And probably the next couple of months, I'm hoping. It's just tough. Time's the enemy these days. So hopefully, I'm hoping to go for 2 a week, though. That's my goal.
Yeah. No, I hear you. No, that's
what about you?
I've been trying to do a few of the kind of like the live streams with some of the, I don't even want to say smaller distilleries, but maybe the craft distilleries. They've been nice enough to send me a few things, and I thought I would do some of those. And I like kind of doing the live stream, like review / tasting type thing. Some of that stuff's kind of fun to do. So, I kind of plan on continuing to do a few of those, mix in a few of the normal type of things along the way. But yeah, it's great being able to do these types of things, interact with everybody. And there's a lot of guys in the chat that we see quite a bit in just watching other live streams and things. So, but that's basically it on my end. I had a great time.
Yeah, this is so much fun. I'm really glad we could finally get it done. Like I said in the beginning of this, me and Scott have been trying to do this for literally 3 months, I would say. I mean, I hit Scott up before I even, like, right when I started my channel, because I've been watching his videos for a while. And I mean, Scott's been doing this for well longer than me, but I think we're both pretty new. I mean, you've been doing it for what, Scott, like a year?
Yeah. I think I'm either just over a year or just approaching a year, I believe.
Yeah, so he's got a little more time under his belt than I do, but I feel like we're both pretty new to this still and still trying to really grow our channels. And so it's fun to be able to do this kind of stuff with other people that are in the same boat as me, so glad we can get it done.
Yep. No, I'm glad we were able to do it. So thanks to everybody who kind of tuned in tonight. That was nice for you to take your time to do that.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight. I'm sure you're already subscribed to Scott's channel, but if not, go to My Bourbon Journey, check him out. Get on his Instagram and Twitter. He's pretty active on all that stuff. If you follow him, he was posting all kinds of pictures when he was doing his basement and showing that build out and bottle picks and things like that. So definitely follow him on that stuff too.
Yeah, and right back at you, everybody. If you haven't followed John, check out Blind Whiskey Reviews. He does a great job. So he does it a little bit different than all of us. We know what we're tasting going into it. So he's got a bit of a tougher challenge. Sometimes that's not so easy to do. So check him out, and yeah, you'll appreciate it. So thanks again, John.
Yeah, thanks everybody. It's been fun, and hopefully we can do this again soon. So hope everybody has a good night, and don't forget to check out the live streams. I'm sure you're all planning on to, but there's a ton of live streaming tomorrow for the whiskey day. So everybody check it out. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya, John.
Bye.